Many of you out there watching this video might have had family members or friends or even coworkers that you knew that ended up having to maybe retire earlier than they had planned, or maybe even earlier than they thought altogether, and maybe not even in time to get the right financial plan in place in many cases. Watch this video as we dive into a discussion about one of the recent surveys out there about this matter and maybe being forced into retire early. Hello everyone, welcome back. Thank you for stopping by the Financial Beat. For those of you this is your first time, I'm the host of the channel, Logan Sadler, and thank you for your time here today. The Financial Beat YouTube channel is all about spreading education out there in the retirement planning space. I am a financial advisor out here in California, so I help lots of people plan and prepare for retirement. Again, a lot of our clients are typically in that retirement planning phase, so we have a lot of conversations just like the one we're going to talk about today with those of you out there where you're getting ready to retire, or maybe in that retirement red zone, maybe 10 years before, 10 years after, where you're researching a lot of information that really might pertain to you. And one of the things I wanted to talk about, we actually did a video a few months back now on this topic, but I wanted to take a deeper dive because I read another survey out there. This one was a few years older, but I thought it was some great information to bring to the table here for you, because a lot of us out there know people when you're planning for retirement that maybe were forced to retire earlier than they might have wanted to. Now, many of you out there always ask me, well, why would I retire earlier than I wanted to, right? So for those of you that are younger watching this, there's a lot of reason out there, right? As we get older, things happen. One of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about today was actually the survey was done by Prudential. So many of you guys out there, it's a very big company. Again, not giving advice or not saying this survey is 100% correct, just trying to have some good talking points and some good conversation here. So Prudential a few years ago had a study that 51% of people retired earlier than they had planned, right? So when you think about that, the one I did a few months ago is somewhere in that 40% range on the other survey. So again, a lot of the research out there is just, bottom line, is just telling me that a lot of people are having to retire earlier than they might have planned, right? So what are the reasons? Why would I retire earlier? Well, actually 23% retired when they wanted to, right? Only 23% of you actually retire, according to the statistics, when you actually planned. And what are the reasons out there, right? I can name off a lot of them, but let's read the statistics here. So basically 46% of people cited health reasons. Now, I've seen this play out with our own clients and a lot of families that we help and that have been clients of ours now and for a long time. I've seen this many different ways play out. I've had it where either the spouse has a health decline, so the working spouse will now retire to take care of that spouse. I've had people maybe where they have more of a physical job, or maybe they're even on their feet all day, doctors, nurses, stuff like that. We work with a lot of public utility workers, things like that. You're on your feet a lot, and all of a sudden your body at age 65 or 70 or 62, 55, whatever age it is, might be in a spot where it might not be able to do what it once was, and you might be into a position where you're forced to retire due to health reasons or health reasons in the family. Again, I've seen both of those really impact a plan. I have a lot of clients where, let's say you're planning on retiring at 65. I've had several clients have to pull the plug at 61 or 62, and it's because of health reasons. Either they had a health issue, their spouse had a health issue, and I've talked about this before on our radio show, and I've told a lot of clients, and even on our old video we did a few months ago, where I actually had family members that have been actually forced to retire earlier than they had thought, and sometimes actually by 5, 6, 7 years earlier than they thought because of health reasons. So that's one of the biggest things that can't be ignored. A lot of us say, I don't need a retirement plan, I could just work forever, right? Unfortunately, the statistics aren't on your side on that. Some of us might be able to, but a lot of us won't. The other reason I wanted to talk about was 30% were laid off or offered early retirement package. We've all heard of the golden handshake, right? If you're a teacher, you've heard that one before. Now, a lot of us out there, I've seen this one too. I had several clients over the last few years that have been offered early buyout packages or retirement severance packages, or maybe forced into a early retirement by a layoff. And it's one of those things, again, where you don't normally see that coming. Most of the time, not every time, but most of the time, that retirement or golden handshake they offer you typically isn't enough to make up for that delayed retirement, right? Because you have more time contributing into your pension, you have more time contributing into your Social Security, more time contributing to your 401k. maybe health insurance, things like that. If you're forced to retire early, a lot of those considerations should be going through your head when you're calculating of, is this golden handshake really worth it, right? So those are like the 3 reasons right there of what can force an early retirement. One of the biggest ways to help prevent this or to help mitigate this risk, I would say, is start planning earlier. A lot of you watching this channel right now might be 45, you might be 55, you might be 65. I think it's a really good indicator that the earlier you start to plan for your retirement, the more better off and really the more situated you might be to insulate yourself from something like this happening. Because I've had some clients, and some of you watching this channel here might fall into that category, where if you had to retire a year or two early, it probably wouldn't hurt your plan, right? Because you might have enough assets, you might have income, you might have low debt, you might have a lot of these things that can be a big factor in that decision already covered. And there's some of you out there where if you were forced to retire 3 or 4 years earlier, it could really hurt your situation and have a dramatic impact on what your retirement income could look like. So I think it's super important when you're getting closer to retirement, the earlier you can start to plan, the better, because it's one of those things that, like we say, we don't typically get to pick the exact day we get to go out. Some of you watching this do, but again, the statistics are showing right here about 51% of you don't. So the earlier you can plan and prepare for that upcoming date, the better off you might be able to be and be able to insulate yourself from that happening to you. So again, just a quick survey there. I thought it was a really fun one to cover. A lot of conversations I've had lately have been around this. Again, a lot of our clients and people I've been talking to are retiring earlier than normal, and definitely a lot of you out there have put your hard hours in, but I want to make sure you're fully aware of all the stuff that can go on and what the reasons why you might be forced into a retirement, so to speak, and hopefully that gave you some good information. If you haven't yet, go ahead and click subscribe and go ahead and check out some of our other videos. Again, we do these weekly, and we're going to be back here again next week with another one. Talk to you soon.